YouTube, how's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing great. Today I'm going to cover my next section on my Magic Lantern on the 6D. It's a couple days late because I've been playing around with it a little bit. I was going to try to give you a little bit more information, but the more I dug into this menu, the little more time I saw that it would be needed to show you. So as usual, I'm going to break it up into a couple sections. I'm going to do a quick overview today of the menu that we're covering, and then later on I'll go a little bit in depth in each of the features for those menus. So let's go ahead and turn it on and get started. Okay, so we got everything set up on here. I got my camera on a tripod this time so it's not moving around as much on you guys. And then I got my camera running here on my iPhone or video. So let's go ahead and jump right into this menu. Go ahead and turn it on. Clean a little sensor there, go into the trash, and our menu we're going to cover today is focus. We've covered all the other ones up to this point, and I'm going to try to do a quick review on it. There's a lot of features on this, and like I said, I've been playing around with it a lot. So let's go ahead, and the first one there is trap focus, and basically what that does is it takes a picture when the subject comes into focus, and that's for manual focus only. And if on most lenses, and it should be on yours, you have a switch for autofocus and manual focus. So you want to make sure that that is on manual focus. And then once we go into this menu, we can either hold the autofocus button, or you can do continuous shooting as the subject comes into focus. I'm going to select continuous focus for now. And like I said, I've been playing around with this a little bit. So let's go ahead and get out of this menu. We'll go into live view. I got our little setup there, and you can probably see the little menu, or not menu, but little graph there for trap focus. I have focus peaking set on the camera, so you can see the little red dots as things come into focus and out of focus. I'm going to try to focus on that little butterfly there. You can probably see the extra dots there. And from what I was able to decipher, once I hit the set button, the little graph on there goes to red. So I'm assuming, because there's not too many instructions, this is more as a plug and play type of thing. You just learn as you go. I'm going to go ahead and take this out of focus. You can see the graph drops way down, and then I'm going to try to bring it into focus. And there, as I got it into focus, it continuously takes a photo. I'm going to bring that out of there. It's going to stop. You can see that it's out of focus for that. I'm going to put it back into the area, and there it goes. It's taken off again. And it stopped after one shot. Now, like I said, it does. It's a little finicky. I'm still learning the ins and outs. So let's go ahead and take him out of focus there. See if we can go into get out of live view, go back into our menu, and I'm going to turn him off for now. That's trap focus. Like I said, I'm going to cover it later on a little more in depth. Moving down to our next area is the follow focus. Focus with the arrow keys. Hit the menu button while and record to save your focus point. So let's go ahead and go into that. And obviously you have off arrows, so we'll leave that set at arrows. We'll go into our live view, go into our movie mode for the cinema, and let's see if we can do here. I'm going to put the autofocus button on. You can use your arrows to focus, so I'm going to go ahead and focus on the little plant here on the side using the arrows there. And as I go into start the film, I'm going to hit the menu, and it shows the focus point is saved here. To return to it, you hit the play button. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the focus and go out to the bottles here. Get them in focus, and right about there they come into focus. And as I hit the play button, it should return without me touching it to the butterfly in the plant. So that's basically how that one works. Like I said, I'm going to be going into depth and doing a little bit more creative things with it. See, if I hit the play button again, it should return back to the bottles and to be in focus. And basically that's how that one works for follow focus. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. Get out of live view. Go into the Magic Lantern menu. We'll go ahead and turn that off. And down below that is focus endpoint. So it's saying a negative 67 points from that original point of the plant to the bottles was how many steps I had to do for that. And basically you fix the rack endpoint with your left and right start points, and then you hit the set point. But that's what we did in the follow focus, as I was focusing in on the butterfly and plant, and then I was focusing off in the distance to the bottles there. So let's go ahead and go down to rack focus. Now this is one I've been playing around with the most, and most trickiest one, and the best way I've seen for this to work is if you go into your live view mode and then go into movie. Now I'm going to set my autofocus to the plant right here, right on the butterfly, and I'm going to go into the Magic Lantern menu, go up to the end point there, and it does show it's 0, so that is my endpoint starting there. And then as I use my left and right arrow keys, I'm going to focus on the back bottles there. And as soon as I get a good distinction of sharpness there, I'm going to hit the set button and go down to the rack focus. And as you can see, it's going back and forth between the 2 points if I hit the set button. Hit the set button again, it goes from the back one, the bottles, back to the butterfly. Now I've had a little trouble with this one where it would not keep the tracking of that, as you can see right there. The best way I've seen it happen is actually recording the movie and setting it up as it's recording, but I'm going to be playing with that later on in the in other things as I go deeper into it. So let's just go back into seeing it showing plus 166 steps from this plant in the front all the way to the bottles. It was 166 steps to get to that point. So let's move on down to focus stacking. This one is probably an easier one to follow along with. At the top you got the run to focus stack, and that's what you would do after you set it up. So you have the first option is your number of pics you want in front of your focus point, and that goes all the way up to, if I go the other way, if it will let me, 100. I'm just going to set it for 3 right now. Number of pics you want behind your focus point is going to set for 3, and then you can also set your focus steps per picture, and that goes up to 10, I believe. Yeah, up to 10. So I'm going to leave that at 2 for that. And I don't have a flash delay, but you can do a flash delay on that, so we're going to keep that as is, and then I'm going to go ahead and go up to the top and run the focus stack. You see it's going through the steps. It's going to take 3 pictures behind the focus point and 3 pictures in front of the focus point. And it's just running through those. There's only 7 photos that I'm taking, so it's not going to take too long. And basically what I've seen this used for is if you want to get a nice macro photography of something that you photograph, you can do the step ones once it's stacked in the software, where you can show a little more depth of field within your photos as far as that is concerned. So that would be the focus stacking. And if you notice at the very bottom, what it shows there is copy rack focus range, and now you see there's 84 pictures, because if we go back to the the focus range that we had. We had a plus 66, and then half of that is 83, and that's basically what it's using for that one. So let's get out of live view because it's getting a little funky there. Under the focus stacking is focus settings. That's basically where you can set your step size that you want to do. That goes all the way from 1, 2, 3 steps at a time. You can do a step delay, so you can go milliseconds from 0 all the way up to 1,000 milliseconds. And then if you want to do a step wait, you can have that on and off. That basically waits till the focus is done, the signal, you know, that you're focused when it beeps when you're focused, and then it would go off. Then your directional, left and right directional, plus and minus, so left and right for plus and minus, or up and down, plus and minus for that. And then you also have your start delay, the number of seconds before focus operation starts, and that goes all the way up to 60%. So that is the focus settings. The depth of field settings. This is one I'm going to cover down the road because circle of confusion, depth of field formula, and depth of field info in live view is turned on and off. That would depend on your lens that you're using, also as far as that's concerned. I'm going to cover these more in depth later on. Circle and confusion, I'm confused about that one, so we'll cover that one later on. And then focus shortcut is basically on or off. And that's choose your autofocus points directly, display off, arrows, and then your set button. And we're going to be playing with that later on too, as far as that's going. So that's what we found in the focus menu. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said in all the other menus before, I'm going to go in depth in each of one, do some samples, either videos or photos, and then we'll be able to go over that a little more easier and not being rushed through the menus. But I wanted to show you what is involved in each of the menus. We still got a few more to go, so I hope you're enjoying them. Please stick around and subscribe below if you want to see the future ones, and I will catch you next time. Have a good one.